Okay, so quarterbacks are done. Now, let's move on to running backs. How's it going, guys? So if you did miss it in my last video, I did do my top 10 Madden rankings going into Madden 22 for the quarterback positions just by overalls and what I think they're going to be. And again, these are just my thoughts on who I think will be like the top 10 and what their rankings will be. If you disagree, tell me. This guy did. He's another comment in the video. What a guy. Speaking of comment in the video, you can be the comment in the video if you just drop a comment here. And while you're here, might as well drop a like. Don't like the video? That's fine. Drop a dislike. You're new here and you like this content, maybe subscribe if you're new. I'd like to hit 750 subscribers by the end of the year, and I can only do that if you guys help me out. So help a brother out. So running backs, this was way more difficult than quarterbacks. So number one is Christian McCaffrey. He ended Madden 21 as a 98 overall, and I think he'll come into Madden 22 as a 98 overall as well. I know he did have the injury, but it's an injury that a running back of his playstyle can most likely bounce back from, and honestly everything we've been hearing from camps and from his recovery team have been positive. So I think he'll probably be the same Christian McCaffrey that we've seen for the past 3 years, which is arguably the best running back in the league, which I said arguably because number two in my mind is Derrick Henry, who I believe will enter Madden 22 as a 97 overall. He did end Madden 21 as a 95, but in my mind, like I said in the quarterback video, I thought that the cover athlete was either going to be Derrick Henry or Aaron Rodgers because they're dominant seasons, and I think that, you know, last season really helped cement Derrick Henry's status as an elite running back within the NFL, and I think a 97 overall is just perfect for him. He was literally just a walking highlight reel last year, and he carried not only the Titans but probably every fantasy team that he was on. So I think a 97 is a very fair range to give Derrick Henry just because of overall dominance that he's had in the league for the past couple of years. Number three is the dude that falls into the top three that are constantly being mixed and matched, and that is ALVIN KAMARA. KAMARA ended Madden 21 as a 94. I think he comes in Madden 22 as a 96, which is a pretty fair ranking, honestly. I think he was a little bit lower ending in Madden 21 just because the Saints had to use him differently when Drew Brees got injured and they had to bring in Taysom Hill. But I mean, for the entire first half of the season, he was arguably just like statistically the best running back in the league at that point. So I think having him as 96 overall is really damn fair. His versatility is both a pass catching back and an elusive running back. I mean, he had what, 6 touchdowns in a game? Yeah, you deserve to be a 95 plus if you're gonna have 6 touchdowns in a game. Number 4 is one of the best young and up and coming running backs in the league right now, Nick Chubb. He ended last year as a 96 overall, and I think he'll enter Madden 22 as 96 overall as well. Obviously last year he did suffer an injury which held him out for about half of the season. My fantasy team of course knew about that. His prowess and power at the running back position, as well as his ability to catch the football, definitely helped him out here. He's kind of like a speedier, bigger version of KAMARA. The only reason I have him below, I mean, he's the same rating, but like below ranking wise as KAMARA is because KAMARA got an entire season that we got to see him play for. Chubb, we didn't get that. Number 5, Dalvin Cook, the man who helped carry the second half of my fantasy league. The only reason I have him this low is a 94. I mean, 95 could probably be justified, but I don't think he's in the 96 and 97 category yet, only because of his durability. We've seen almost every single year the past couple of seasons that he does get hurt for a significant amount of the season. So because of that, I don't think he really does get that 95 plus elite. If he stays healthy throughout the entire season, I would not be surprised if he ends this season as like a 98 or a 99. I mean, he is arguably one of the best running backs in the game. Number 6, this is where the ratings do kind of fall off a little bit, and this is where the controversy begins. I have number 6 as EZEKIEL ELLIOT. He ended last year as an 88 overall. I have him coming in as an 89, so to give him a little bump up. The reason I think he ended as an 88, obviously he was injured, but he did not have a really good season. But from what we've seen from offseason pictures and training camp, he does look like he's gotten bigger, he's gotten stronger. That probably does take away from some speed, but that's really overall helpful as a back. Kind of like I said with DALVIN, I mean, as long as he can stay healthy, I could see him finishing this year as like a 93 to a 96 overall. Number 7 is Josh Jacobs. This one is weird. I mean, he ended last year as a 90, so I guess I am giving him a bump down as an 89 overall. But like, I don't know how to really grade this. I mean, as a talent, I think 89 is very fair. He's going to his 3rd year in the league, but like, I can't say like I have said for Zeke or Dalvin Cook that like he can go up because the Raiders added Kenyon Drake, so it's like, okay, but why? Josh Jacobs definitely has the talent to be able to be like a 92 to a 95 overall player, but without the production, we don't know what he's gonna do. Number 8, Green Bay Packer running back Aaron Jones. He ended last year also as a 90, similar to Josh Jacobs. I think he comes in at 88. I do think that he was a little inflated because they do give him a lot of the goal line carries. He is a good running back, but I think a 90 is a little bit too high. Just looking at the running backs that are ahead of him, I do think they have a greater skill set than Aaron Jones. That's why I did kind of bump him down a little bit when in contrast to those guys. But I mean, mean, last year he did cement himself as a top 10 running back in the league. Number 9, Saquon Barkley. He ended last year as an 89 overall. I have him coming in as an 88. Obviously, he wasn't really able to grow his rating because he got hurt in what was it, week 2 or week 3 of the season. Saquon's another guy that's kind of hard to judge because we haven't seen that much tape on him. I mean, he did not look that great in the first couple of games of last season, but that could just be because of how bad the Giants offensive line was. We did see Wayne Gallman have some success within that team, but you know, the year before we saw Saquon completely dominate, but he was getting a blunt of all the carries and he was just being overworked. But again, from a talent level, just kind of like I was talking about with Josh Jacobs, I think an 88 is great. The only reason I wouldn't give him 89 or 90 is because of his injury. Like I was saying with Christian McCaffrey, it's McCaffrey's play style, which is why I didn't bump him down. So Saquon's play style is much different from McCaffrey's play style. Obviously McCaffrey is much more of a slowed down pace of play type of player, who also definitely benefits from the receiving game. Saquon does benefit from the receiving game, but he's also kind of a speed back and he's an elusive back. You might lose some of that agility after a really bad leg injury like this. And then number 10, like I said, this was actually kind of a hard list to make. I mean, obviously the first like 5 to 6 are pretty justifiable and you can understand like where the thought process is. Not of course ranking them, but like who the players are. But number 10, you guys can see, is Chris Carson. He ended last year as an 87. I think he comes into this season as an 87. For me, Chris Carson just has a lot of talent, but it's kind of similar to Dalvin. He just gets injured so often, but within the system that he is in Seattle, and now that he's basically the only back, due to his production in the receiving game as well as the running game, I would not be surprised if he can get up to like a 90 within the first 3 or 4 weeks into the season. And then my highest overall rookie is going to be, of course, Najee Harris. He was the highest touted prospect going into the draft, and he was the first running back taken off the board, obviously because of his production at Alabama. He had, I think, 30 touchdowns last season alone. I have him coming in as a 76 overall. I did have Trevor Lawrence as a 78, but that's pretty damn generous, like I was saying last time, for a quarterback. So I think 76 is a really good starting point for Najee. Najee is not much of a speed back. He's more of a power back. So without that speed, it will probably drop his overall by a little bit. But I mean, this is one of those cards that if they were doing the rookie premiere for month that they've been doing in the past, where the card levels up throughout the year, this is a card that arguably could maybe win offensive rookie of the year. He's going to develop throughout the entire year. The only thing that might put him back is the fact that the Steelers offensive line is now really low ranked. But with his involvement in the passing game and in the running game, he's going to be an overall dominant player, and he definitely has the most hype around him at the running back position. So there we go. Top 10 and my rookie running back ratings. I'm curious what you guys have to think about it. McCaffrey, Henry, KAMARA, CHUBB, DALVIN. Those are obviously my top 5. Zeke fits in there somewhere too. And then honestly, between, you know, Jacobs, Jones, Saquon, and Carson, there's a bunch of people you could like substitute names for there, and you could make a good case for it. If there's anyone you guys think I left off the list, or if you guys think I got ratings really wrong, let me know. Other than that, be on the lookout for the wide receiver rankings that'll be coming out soon as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.